Good morning, America. Massive inferno. Wildfires in the west explode in size, an area the total size of New York City, devoured by flames in California alone, the sky turning red as fire forces thousands of people to flee their homes, with hundreds of structures destroyed.
Look at right there. So they're doing major fog check drops in this area.
The choking smoke now moving east, affecting air quality across the country.
Campaign blitz. With 100 days to go till the election, Vice President Kamala Harris holding events across the country this weekend. Donald Trump targeting his presumptive opponent with fresh new attacks. Plus, his meeting with Israel's prime minister. What came out of it?
Autopsy report and the fatal shooting of Sonya Massey by a sheriff's deputy. What it reveals as her family calls for justice.
Under scrutiny, the FAA increasing its oversight of Southwest Airlines after a pair of incidents it's now investigating. As the airline makes a major change in its seating policy, what's behind the move?
You were an X-Man.
Marvelous opening.
You were the X-Man.
Deadpool and Wolverine are box office heroes, breaking records and breaking ground in the cinematic universe.
And let the games begin. The spectacular start in Paris, an opening ceremony like never before. Team USA joining the parade of ships down the Seine, and major star power, Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, and Celine Dion's fantastic finale.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. That music says it all, sets the tone. How about Celine Dion?
That moment
I was crying.
brought us all to
Unbelievable.
tears. Just
Wow.
amazing.
Incredible. We'll have more on that. The opening ceremony like no other, the first in history of the Summer Games held outside of a stadium. Of course, Lara Spencer right there in the mix in Paris, covering the games for us, bringing us all the highlights from the performances and the celebrations. And then here at home, the White House lit in red, white, and blue overnight to support Team USA.
Can't wait to talk about that. We have a lot to get to this morning, including keeping your kids safe online. That is always on parents' minds. And this morning, a parenting expert shares her advice on how to monitor their social media behavior.
But we do begin here with the wildfires raging in the west and the growing concern about smoke-filled air across the region. Thousands of people in several states forced to flee their homes now. The biggest fire in California right now is the rapidly growing Park Fire. And ABC's Jaclyn Lee is at the staging area for firefighters there in Chico. Good morning, Jaclyn.
Gio, good morning to you. Firefighters are resting up before redeploying to the front lines. This as California Governor Gavin Newsom declares a state of emergency as a result of this fire. This morning, an astonishing, chaotic wildfire raging out of control, scorching more than 300,000 acres across Northern California. The Park Fire, burning in California's Butte and Tehama counties, has quickly become the state's largest fire so far this year. This as firefighters struggle to gain an upper hand, with 0% contained. At least 134 structures destroyed and more than 4,000 people evacuated. Firefighters across the state descending on the city of Chico at a newly created base camp, working up to 36-hour shifts to contain flames in the north that have turned the sky into a fiery red for miles. We are seeing a crew deploying here, ready to cut line, trying to get this under control. You can see the flames just burning over here. The wind is creating all of this billowing smoke. This appeared within a matter of seconds, showing all the conditions that firefighters are dealing with, just struggling to contain this fire. And Arcana Whitworth also on the scene as CAL FIRE uses every available asset to tame this inferno. Look at right there. So they're doing major fog check drops in this area because this fire continues to jump its major containment lines. So they're relying heavily on this air attack right now. The hardest hit towns, including Cohasset and Forest Ranch, a haunting reminder for Jen Robbins, who lost it all in the 2018 Camp Fire in the nearby town of Paradise.
Yeah, we lost our home, vehicles, pets, everything.
And after smoke turned the sky black earlier this week, Robbins fleeing down the highway with her young daughter, only to encounter what she calls a tunnel of fire.
And we just started crying because we already have PTSD from the Camp Fire, so it brought up a lot of emotions and memories and what ifs.
And as for the cause of this fire, officials arrested 42-year-old Ronnie Dean Stout for suspected arson. He will be arraigned on Monday, where he will face charges. Gio.
So many people dealing with the aftermath there. All right, Jaclyn, thank you so much. Let's go to the smoke danger now, spreading across the West because of those wildfires. Samara Theodore is here with all the details. Good morning, Samara.
Good morning, Gio. Yeah, this dangerous situation will continue to unfold. Now, these are the conditions you need. Low relative humidity where the park fire is burning, 22% relative humidity. The areas in gray, that's where they're having an air quality alert because of the smoke. And if you look, it's not just the USA. Canada, 926 active fires burning right now. That smoke is going to make its way down into the lower 48. In the coming days, this is where the very heavy smoke is going to smoke will migrate. Northern California, Nevada, parts of Utah. And as we head into August, temperatures will be much warmer than normal out west, and that itself will definitely be conducive to more wildfires. Whit?
All right, Samara, we'll check back with you in just a bit. To politics now, with Donald Trump turning his attacks on his new opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, as she takes aim at Trump's choice of running mate. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is here with more. Mary Alice, good morning.
Yeah, well, good morning. Overnight, former President Donald Trump clearly frustrated by the whiplash of this week and the fact that he will no longer face off against President Biden. His attacks against his new opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, quickly turning personal. On the campaign trail overnight, former President Donald Trump lamenting that President Biden dropped out of the race, calling it a coup.
He's losing badly, ready to be knocked out. And they say, well, wait, let's stop the fight. Let's put somebody else in. It doesn't work that way.
Trump also appearing before supporters without his ear bandaged, just 2 weeks since that assassination attempt. The former president then turning his attention to the new presumptive Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, attacking her work on the border, but also getting personal, calling Harris a, quote, bum, then mocking her name.
They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what I say. I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not.
He also claimed Harris, quote, does not like Jewish people, though her husband is Jewish. And he did not mention his new running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who has faced new scrutiny while trying to clean up old comments he made about women without children.
This is not about criticizing people who, for various reasons, didn't have kids. This is about criticizing the Democratic Party for becoming anti-family and anti-child.
Vance calling out the record low birth rate in the country, saying more should be done to encourage people to have families, trying to clarify these comments in 2021 that resurfaced this week.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies.
Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign responding overnight, calling Vance weird and creepy, adding on Trump's rally, America can do better than the bitter, bizarre, and backwards-looking delusions of criminal Donald Trump. At her first few campaign stops as a new candidate, Harris herself focused on children and families, too.
We see a future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave, not for some, but for all.
Now, Democrats have also continued to push to restore the expanded child tax credit. Senator Vance in that interview talked about wanting to lower housing costs for families, but little else in terms of concrete policy proposals. I think really opening himself up to that question of what exactly are Republicans pushing for families.
Yeah, that's something to watch moving forward. And Mary Alice, you also have an update from the FBI on that assassination attempt on Trump.
Yeah, during his testimony last week on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray said that there was still some question about whether Trump was hit by a bullet or shrapnel, but the FBI overnight put out a statement saying clearly what struck former President Trump in the ear was a bullet, whether whole or fragmented into smaller pieces, fired, of course, from that deceased subject's rifle.
That's in line with what Trump was saying, what his doctor
100%.
was saying as well. Mary Alice, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Rhiannon?
All right, former President Trump met with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who wrapped up his U.S. trip with a visit to Mar-a-Lago. ABC's Matt Rivers joins us now with more on this from Tel Aviv. And Matt, a lot has been talked about. These two haven't met in person in almost 4 years. How did this meeting go?
Yeah, this was a very busy week for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu throughout the U.S., of course, wrapping up that U.S. tour by meeting with former President Donald Trump. This is the first time the pair have met in Florida since Trump's election loss back in 2020. Trump reportedly unhappy back then when Netanyahu called Joe Biden to congratulate him on his election victory. So all eyes on this meeting to see how it would go. And it was all smiles. Trump saying the relationship was, quote, never bad and has always been good. Meanwhile, after meeting with President Biden, Vice President Harris, and family members of hostages still inside Gaza this week, Netanyahu said he is confident a ceasefire deal that would bring those hostages home is within reach, though no timetables were given. Multiple sources have told ABC News Israeli negotiators will be in Rome today, meeting with mediators from the U.S., Qatar, and Egypt. Hostage families say they're more confident that they've been since last year that a deal could come through soon, but we have heard talk of progress before only to see a deal fall apart. Meanwhile, a stark reminder that this conflict rages on. Israel's military saying that they struck targets in Khan Yunis in Gaza targeting Hamas. Meanwhile, the Hamas-run health ministry there saying those strikes killed an additional 18 people. Gio?
All right, Matt, thank you for your reporting from Tel Aviv. And we're going to turn now to Paris, where security is being heightened even more after what appears to be coordinated attacks that crippled the French rail system just hours before the Summer Games. James Longman is in Paris covering the Summer Games for us, and he joins us now with more on that. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. It's still unclear who carried out this massive and coordinated attack on France's railway system. If they wanted to destabilize the opening ceremony, that didn't work because it went off without a hitch. But there are still massive and serious delays and cancellations to train services in this country. Engineers have been working round the clock to try to get the situation resolved. They found incendiary devices in the signal boxes alongside three of the country's most important high-speed rail lines. The Eurostar was affected. That connects the United Kingdom with France. But the conditions have been very difficult as well. It's been raining so much here. That's made getting these lines back up and running very, very difficult indeed. But they say they're having some success. Some lines are back up. The whole system should be back up by Monday. Workers are also coming in to place alongside these tracks for security. So 1,000 workers are going to be deployed alongside France's railway lines for that added security, along with drones as well. They're hoping that this doesn't happen again. But the big headline here basically is that all these lines should be back up and running by Monday, and all the athletes, most importantly, will be able to make it to their events. Whit?
That is the hope. All right, James, thank you so much. Back here in the U.S., the family of Sonya Massey is calling for justice. The black woman who was shot in her own home by a sheriff's deputy. Authorities now releasing an autopsy report as the fire deputy who fatally shot her appeared in court. ABC's Morgan Norwood joins us now with more. Morgan, good morning.
Good morning to you, Whit. Yes, that autopsy report confirming that Sonya Massey died of a gunshot wound to the head, but her family says it's the direction in which Massey was shot that further proves that this was a senseless killing. All of it on police body camera video, and we do warn you this morning, it is disturbing.
This morning, new details in the police shooting death of Sonya Massey. An autopsy report showing the 36-year-old mother of two died as a result of a gunshot wound to the head. Her death ruled a homicide.
She needed a helping hand, not a bullet to the face.
Deputy Sean Grayson showing up at Massey's door after she called 911 to report a prowler.
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
Throughout the 6-minute encounter, Massey struggling to answer questions. Her family saying she had recently been experiencing mental illness.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name.
When she asked to take a pot of boiling water off the stove, the situation changes in an instant.
Where are you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot! Drop the pot! Drop the
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Grayson, who did not turn on his body camera until after shooting Massey, explaining the situation to responding officers, who asked, "Where's the gun?"
Where's the gun? No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water.
According to the autopsy report, the bullet entered Massey's face under her left eye in a downward motion. Massey seen here ducking down as those fatal shots were fired. The family devastated, now demanding justice.
He needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
And Sean Grayson has been fired from the force and has pled not guilty to the charges in Massey's killing. ABC News, meanwhile, we've obtained a grievance filed for Grayson that claims that he was terminated without just cause. He is now asking for his job back along with lost wages and benefits. Tomorrow, guys, has been designated as a national day of mourning for Sonya Massey.
All right, Morgan, thank you. for that report. Now to the arrest of 2 leaders of the Sinaloa drug cartel. Ismael El Mayo Zambada was apprehended when he was duped into getting on a flight he thought was going to northern Mexico. But in fact, it landed in El Paso, Texas. And Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of notorious drug lord El Chapo, was secretly flown to Chicago. Now, the details of his custody have yet to be released, but we will have much more on this major blow to one of the most vicious drug cartels coming up in our next hour. Gio.
Okay, Rhiannon, now to Southwest Airlines under pressure after recent close calls. The company's chief executive now speaking out as the FAA takes a closer look at the airline. This morning, Southwest Airlines in the sights of aviation officials. The FAA increasing oversight of the airline after a string of incidents it's now investigating. Earlier this month, a Southwest flight from Columbus to Tampa dropped within 150 feet of the water. And in June, a different flight dropped to 525 feet over Oklahoma. The CEO of Southwest Airlines saying he spoke to the FAA earlier this week.
We take the issues very, very seriously. We have a team that's focused on understanding what happened, what we can do to improve.
Southwest officials say they started looking into safety issues in April after 2 flights which had similar issues. They didn't specify which, though around that time, a Southwest flight plunged toward the ocean off the coast of Hawaii, coming within 400 feet of the water after a new pilot inadvertently pushed the control column forward, according to a Southwest memo obtained by Bloomberg. The FAA scrutiny comes as Southwest is making a major change. For the first time in more than 50 years, it's abandoning its open seating policy, switching to assigned seats, saying their research indicates that 80% of Southwest customers and 86% of potential customers prefer an assigned seat.
Travelers that sort of shied away from booking with Southwest could likely turn over a new leaf due to the fact that they now can guarantee that they will get a seat assignment.
And if you fly Southwest, you know that the airline is known for not charging for those first 2 checked bags. And the company CEO says he has no plans of changing that. So that's some good news.
We're going to hold him to that for now.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember what you said. Thank you, Gio, for that.